Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome to the D-Pad. I'm Rick.
I'm Bang.
I'm Sra.
Oh my
And
God!
This is
It
the
actually,
Goat Bear.
the chat actually loaded correctly on the first try.
I can't read
First
that
try.
though.
Of course, the one time I don't try to
you
do it
gotta
ahead of
put
time.
You're gonna have to put it back on the
Oh,
laptop. I
well,
can't read
fine.
it from all the way
Well,
over
there
there.
you go.
Yay!
Hello. How are you guys
Who's
doing?
in here? Sound off. Press 1 if you're in chat.
Press 2 if you're not.
Hey,
Yeah.
Final
Press C-
Biscuit.
Press 3 if you exist in 5-dimensional.
And it's nobody basically an Alk Sprit. Cool.
All right, here we
cool.
go. But yeah, welcome
Hi,
to
friends.
our January 2020, our first Patreon Hangout of the year. We're one for one,
Oh,
doing it in the
shit.
month that it actually belongs in.
Yep, correct
New
day,
Year's
all that good
resolution.
stuff.
Yep.
Not late, on time.
Do it every month.
We actually call. Oh, that's right. Yeah, happy birthday,
Happy birthday!
Alfred. It
Yay!
was yesterday, wasn't it? Was it not
Oh,
today?
well, happy belated birthday then.
I thought it was. I
Well,
thought
we
I
love
saw
you
it
no matter what,
getting
if we're
mentioned in
late or
Discord
not.
yesterday. Either way, though, yeah, absolutely. Getting this part out of the way right at the top because it may as well be useful for anyone that's watching this after the fact is today. Happy birthday to Alex Spread. That's what I was gonna say off the top because it was important.
Yay!
Secondly to that, if anyone out there watching this after the fact would like to join in on this live, you can check out patreon.com/dpadfm to find out how. And our next Patreon Hangout is actually going to be a live stream from the PAX East floor.
Oh, shit.
I won't be there.
Friday, February 28th.
I may or may not be there.
I think that's the 28th.
I have to check PAX Exchange or whatever that subreddit is.
Oh, we'll get it figured out for you because we're gonna do it from the BYOC area. We can get that sorted out.
Yeah.
Or I mean, so
I'm not like every year. I'm like I don't need to buy a badge, and I get there somehow anyway. So I
well,
don't-
so I
Oh, you
I
started
have-
the Goge.
I have a badge. I had to be careful not to flip it around because I
Oh.
have no idea how stealable the codes are. Probably not really, not like this, but
Still.
I have my badge.
Hopefully our
I have
patrons
one.
aren't the people stealing our PAX codes
Yeah.
from us, but I mean, I wouldn't blame you.
So I bought 3 PAX passes. One for me, one for Jeff. One is meant for John, but I don't know if he's going to actually be at PAX.
Oh, I'll just
He's
take his.
pretty fucking busy right now. Like, there's a
It's
lot
also
of stuff going
John.
on.
You never know, right?
Yeah.
Right. And he's coming down in 2 weeks. So he's coming down 2 weeks before PAX. I'd be stunned if he managed to make a second trip
Not gonna
2 weeks later. So
Right? Yeah.
Did-
we'll check with him. I'll message him. I got to talk to him about other stuff anyway, but if he can't use that, then that's not gonna be yours.
I don't care if you can or can't use it. I'm just taking it.
I mean, I covered it anyway. And
He can't
owed me
stop you.
for
You'll
it,
just
so
put it
at
over
that
your head
point,
like this
I'll
and
just
just
throw it
watch
back
him.
into the. We
be
have a
sad.
Splitwise for our apartment costs.
yeah, make him
and
pay
things.
for it regardless.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Use it
you-
regardless.
No, if I make him pay for it, then it's going to stay as money owed to me on Splitwise
Forever.
until
Yeah.
whenever that happens. This
No,
way it
it'll
rolls
just
back into the
transfer straight to
apartment
me,
fund.
baby, just like all of your debts
That's
to
fine.
him do.
That's fine. That's less that I have to cover than this month. I'm cool with that. But yeah, so
Just because John, that's how John works.
yeah. But yeah, so PAX is coming up, and we're gonna be. I've got a BYOC ticket this year. Jeff, I believe, or I got 2 of them. One for me, one for Jeff. And I think a couple of Jeff's friends that go also got BYOC, and they tend to cluster them together to
Yeah.
have a zone.
It's nice having a little HQ
leaning
to
like
operate
this, right?
from.
Yeah, it's nice. It's honestly, it's just nice to have a table you can drop shit off at. Because boy,
For
nothing is more
course.
annoying than having a backpack
Yeah.
full of stuff. And especially this year, we're hoping and planning to go, journalist style on it and actually plan ahead of time, find devs that are there for 1 or 2 days, talk with them, check out their game,
Mhm.
actually ask them about their process and all their stuff. And that lugging around camera equipment all day at PAX sounds like my personal form of hell. So
Yeah,
anything
you're gonna want to try to go as lightweight as possible.
exactly, yeah.
So yeah,
Oh,
hopefully,
danger coach.
maybe we'll see some of the people in this Patreon chat right now at
Yeah.
PAX.
Yeah. I'm actually still figuring out how the hell recording is even going to wind up happening around then anyway.
It won't.
It probably won't. It's probably going to be the start of March will probably be a teensy bit light just because
Oh,
of
that
just because of that,
can't.
but it happens. That's fine. But yeah, PAX coming up. That should be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I got to check who's actually performing at PAX this year because that's always a big thing too, is the concert
Mhm.
side of things.
I think the concert's actually Thursday night now. I heard.
Really?
Yeah, which I thought was a bit odd.
That is definitely odd. I guess
Thursday's becoming a big day, but still.
they're trying to expand outwards because every year PAX feels more and more packed
Peck Packs.
And the only way, so it's at the New England Convention Center, I think is the name of the actual building, or is the Boston Convention Center? Boston Convention Center.
Boston Convention and Expo Center.
Yeah.
BCEC.
Oh, that's right, BCEC. And outside of literally like sports arenas, it's basically the biggest capacity thing in Boston. Like, you really can't get bigger than that.
Yeah, so unless they go to a different
They would have to go to
city,
New
like,
York.
New York, basically.
They would have to go to
which
New York.
Would
I don't
be a bummer,
'cause-
because that would put it even further out of reach, basically.
Right?
That would be a whole event of like trying to get a hotel and everything down there. Where like
I'm gonna guess that
at that point.
exactly. I'm gonna assume that Portland and Providence and Hartford don't have anything bigger than BCEC to work with. So like the only option after BCEC is moving to New York. Thankfully, PAX East I think has been in Boston the whole time and has a really deep rooted connection with the Boston indie dev industry, and even the professional stuff. Like Harmonix has a pretty good relationship with them, and a bunch of the other like Boston based studios. I know during the time where I was working at Turbine, they had a pretty decent connection with PAX East too. So like that's all.
Yeah, it's kind of it's pretty big. And
yeah,
I think it works for Boston too. A lot of people come in, they get a lot of tourism money.
Yep.
Not tourism, but
it's interesting.
there's an influx of cash that weekend for the city.
I'm trying to figure out like what would be a way for things to work out for them that doesn't involve just adding more days, because that only solves the problem for like maybe a year or two, and then it just becomes the same problem but over more days.
Yeah, unless they figure out how to do like a remote site, or a satellite,
like
site
satellite
for
campus kind of situation.
I don't know. I don't know how you get any bigger than the BCEC, but
the only thing I can think of that might potentially be able to help slightly is if they themed the days themselves. If they had a day that was more focused on music, one that's more focused on tabletop, one that's more if they broke it down into days. The only problem there is anything they do to try to alleviate the overcrowding issue means they sell fewer tickets, and they obviously don't want that. So like
pajama day.
Money's important to them,
right? It's tough. I mean, it's definitely tough.
Like, there's not much you can do. Like, it's just it's at the saturation point where it's just going to be crowded all the time now.
Yep.
Thursday's a little bit better because less people take that off. But I mean, it's not like I'm not like, oh, these guys are idiots. It's just like it kind of sucks that that's where we're at, because I like it less now that it's so crowded.
Right, and like
that's why I don't go.
So
other people.
This year was, I think, my fourth year going to MagFest, and later this year, I'm planning on going to E3 again. This will be the second time going there, and both of those feel more. I don't want to say competently run, because PAX East is competently run. I would say it's actually slightly more competently run than MagFest in terms of overall structure.
Yeah, it's more organized.
Yeah,
to the point where it's almost over-organized.
Right. That's the thing. I feel more comfortable walking around at MagFest and at E3 than I do at PAX East, and it's not like a weird people problem. It's more just like you walk on the merch floor, on the show floor, and it is just
sardines,
shoulder to shoulder the whole time,
packed like sardines.
It is nuts, and it never gets better. The first year we went was like a lot, but better, and that was 7 years ago now. Holy shit. I think it was 2013. Oh no, it would have been 2014. The first spring that we were with actually it might have been the only spring that we were with
Zim thinks you uploaded the wrong Resident Evil video.
Oh, did I? I'll have to double check. I don't think I did, but
Someone's
I'll have to
in trouble.
I'll have to double check on that one.
We'll have to fire our editor.
If it's a different Resident Evil video than what was up yesterday, then it is the correct one, but I will have to double check. Did it start?
Let's figure it out later.
Yeah, I'll have to double check that afterwards. But regardless,
thanks for the heads up, though.
Yep. Losing my train of thought now. It's definitely an older one. Ah, shit. All right. Well, take care of this all the same time here. But yeah, so PAX East is coming up. That should be a good time. We should have a lot to talk about from that. Yeah, that's weird. I must have grabbed like the wrong. I must have gone to the wrong sequence file or something at the last second and switched it out. So I can fix that. Which is a bummer because today was a pretty solid day in terms of like getting all the videos up way ahead of time and all of that. So I'm just going to private that bad boy. There we go. Cool. Anyway, so actually I need my phone for this part because it's easiest to do it this way. Let's walk down the list of stuff. We have our list. Also, Jeff was originally, I guess, considering coming up for tonight. Oh, John, speak of the devil, is also here remotely.
Oh, look, it's John.
I love us all too, John.
Jeff was planning on being up here, but he is apparently
Jorf.
ultra sick, which is
Yeah, poor
unfortunate.
Jorf.
Because A, don't want him to be sick in general. B, Sunday he's putting together a Super Bowl party and has a lot to do, before then. C, was planning on coming up here tomorrow to record our annual Super Bowl video.
Yeah, which now I'll have to do instead.
So we're gonna have to pull a mulligan on that.
And I hate football. I don't hate football. It's fine.
I think we'll manage something pretty good there. But as for the actual videos, I guess I'll start from the top. I have like my list in order of like this. So it's interesting, right? Our videos over time I've worked out like here's the rough order I like to upload videos in.
Yeah.
Originally it used to just be, all right, what's our like main series? Our main series should be in the noon slot, so it has the most exposure during the day. Gets the best. I mean, so noon here is 9 a.m. on the West Coast. It's 5 p.m., 4 or 5 p.m. depending on time of year in the UK. It's, oh God, I'm going to get this so wrong. I apologize to C-Dude. You're out there somewhere. I think it's like 7 o'clock at night.
I was going to say it's basically opposite. It's got to be later than that.
Does it? It might be. Oh, yeah, no, I think it's 15 hours. Would be like 3 in the morning? That sounds right. 3 in the morning, so that's like just before dawn.
I remember.
It's not ideal for Australia, but. Thank you. Thanks, John.
I remember back in the day playing with the Australians in World of Warcraft at like 3 in the morning because
nice.
like
they're ready to go.
I would be up all night and it's like, oh, you know what? I haven't done the Saffron raid or whatever the fuck. Nice. Like, any Australians on? Like, I might come join us.
Oh my God! You got to pull out your didgeridoo.
Yeah,
got to get your Outback hat and everything. It's like dinner time for them at 3 a.m. here.
Yeah.
So nice.
Right. Yeah. That's why I was like, they're like, okay, we're having dinner.
Yeah.
And then it's raid time. And I'm like, oh hey, I've been up literally all night.
It's up at 4 a.m. in Sydney. So close. Okay, 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So yeah, off by an hour then. So it's 16 hours. Though maybe that's also because of daylight savings. So maybe it's 15 hours outside of it. I don't know. For some reason, 15 hours is in my brain, but.
The dinner at 3.
Oh my God. So, excuse me. So yeah, I usually would put the main video at like noon, and I would try to put like a couple hours between videos just so that each one would have a chance to kind of breathe before the next one comes out. And these are all based off of like 2011 to 2013, 2014 algorithm deductions that we and the folks over at the Let's Play subreddit had made over the years. Obviously,
I trust that subreddit is all I'm saying.
Oops, sorry.
You're fine.
I mean, it's so the subreddit
I'm just being.
The subreddit is useful if you're getting started. It doesn't have, once you've actually got the ball rolling, it's not particularly useful.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
But like, I'll still poke my head in there once in a while. I know.
That's kind of how we met Josh, was through that, right?
I think Josh we met through there.
Yeah.
We also, I mean, that's also how we know like Game Face Max. That's how we know Geek Remix. Like they came up around the same time that we got started.
Cool.
Born Losers Gaming, same thing there. I want to say, is it Dragast? I don't actually know how to pronounce the name they use. Dragast is Dragast the one that's a huge one? They're one of the people who uses like a different handle from their actual channel, but is just humongous channel that still is there and helping out. So God bless
them.
them.
Good for the Bodhisat Vayana. The people that are making it big but still helping out the little guy.
Oh, okay. I was like, I assume from context clues, I think I know what this means, but I think it's one of those.
Yeah,
you know.
like the Buddha. Buddha is someone who like reaches enlightenment, and Bodhisattva is someone who is. I forget. I'm gonna be wrong.
I misheard you the first time, I think, because there's. I mean, I recognize the name from. There's a rock song that's named after.
Yeah, there's a song by Steely Dan,
Yeah.
Bodhisattva, which is a fucking awesome song. Everyone
It's the one where like the chorus literally like Bodhisattva,
Yeah.
Bodhisattva,
and it's like the path is called the Bodhisattvayana or something like that.
Okay. Oh, that makes sense.
And it's the path of someone who like is either reaches enlightenment or is like at the cusp of it or something, but instead like kind of like helps other people along, something like that. I don't know.
Nice.
That's just I'm not good
Yeah.
at stories.
Well, so we're putting out videos frequently enough. We have enough.
So they decide not to achieve nirvana in order to help other people. Okay, I wasn't sure exactly if they like have the ability to but decide not to, or if they do but not the same level or something like that. I'm sure I'm getting the nuance off, but yeah.
Also just double checking if cool. I'm like checking that we have two versions of the feed that are up, and that one goes much further back, but it's smaller, so it's like hard to keep track. But yeah, so like we have enough videos going. So normally, if for example we have 6 videos on a day, which is a pretty full day, like that's basically where I like to cap it as like our max.
Yeah, you better
generally.
Cap that.
Not always the case because of like a stream, but that's kind of a special case scenario. But like,
the stream is like it's done regardless.
Yeah.
Like it's already happened.
If we have 6 videos on a day, all right. So once there was like, all right, so our main one's at noon. There's also like, all right, is this something that would be really good in the middle of the day? Is this something that would be good in the evening? Is this something that would be good at night? So like
Resident Evil should come out at night.
Yeah. So Resident Evil.
Okay.
No, for real though. Yeah. Resident Evil, I try to make sure it comes out at least at 6 o'clock. Usually anywhere in that 6 to 10 o'clock range is fine for that because it's like a good like late night kind of thing. Kirby, for example, like the intro. Usually,
that
not for
be in
Smash,
the
not for
morning
others.
Babies.
No, I do that one. I do that one in the early evening. It's a nice, like literally the intro of the video has a little sunset as it fades into it. So I'm just like, all right. Oh no, it has a sunrise. I'm sorry, it does have a sunrise, but the ending has a sunset.
Okay. All right.
Just like, and it's got that nice soft saxophone going on, and like it's a nice like ease out of the day with something a little de-stressful. But then after a while, it became like, all right, we've got a bunch of these videos. I need to space them out. So if we had 6 in a day, it'd be like 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Like nice, evenly spread. You know, Resident Evil at the end, Kirby kind of in the late evening, the like main stuff at the beginning. And then it became like, all right, what takes priority? All right, Zelda we've been doing forever, and that's kind of our first real core series. So that gets the top slot as often as possible. Which changed slightly when I started doing Ring Fit Adventure, because it's like that should really be as early in the day as I can manage to have the video up.
Biscuit, keep preaching.
Preach,
brother.
One day we will get there. But anytime we go for more than a week without a certain series, we start getting comments going, "What? But what happened to Kirby Mass Attack? Wait, what happened to Sonic?" And it's like, all right, I know, I get you. Like, we're doing the best we can.
I try to tell him to not, but it's a failing effort.
We're eyeballing 2020.
Raise your dongers if you would miss Kirby Mass Attack. I think that's what the kids say.
Yeah,
that one's actually fairly close to done at this point.
I fucking hope so.
Yeah, I think did the video. I think today's video has us going into Volcano Valley. And that is the last like full-size level.
The end of the game,
yeah, that's the last like full-size world. So we're actually a lot close. We're probably about 2/3 of the way through that, maybe more. I guess like 70-ish% of the way through.
In the sense that I missed the progress towards. Well, like I want to stop playing Mass Attack.
Yep, I'd be fine with that
trash.
too. However,
burn the trash.
I don't
pee on the trash. Yeah,
the next game.
It's so weird.
We tried it.
We have this.
We tried it. Didn't work.
The Kirby franchise has this weird relationship with. I don't want to say quality because that's not really the right way to put it. But like Kirby games are thankfully very experimental when they're not like a straight up like there's a Kirby game which is you control Kirby, you platform, you jump, you swallow enemies, you get powers, etc. You fight some evil space eldritch abomination from another universe, whatever. Then you've got all the like Kirby's Pinball. Land. You've got Kirby's Epic Yarn. You've got Kirby's Block Ball, Kirby's Superstar Stacker. All of these things, and it's like, I'm glad that they varied up throughout, because that's something that the Sonic franchise more or less leaves behind by the time it gets to Sonic Adventure. It kind of stops really fucking around with other genres for the most part. Kirby kind of keeps it.
Nobody. We all know that I hate every game, so don't use me as the baseline.
My biggest issue with Kirby spin-offs is that most of them are just kind of they have more value to me as like, oh, that's a neat twist on Kirby, but they're not generally fun for the length of a game.
That's the thing. Like, I've had fun with Kirby games, like especially the multiplayer ones are
oh yeah, and we're gonna have a lot more of those coming up too, so that's good.
But then then we'll just hit one, and it's like, here's our new gimmick, which is you draw a line, and Kirby has to go on the line.
I knew that was the one you were gonna say, because that was the one that I was thinking too.
But that's the most egregious example, right?
I'm
but
nervous.
They're all pretty,
I'm nervous. We have another one.
But some, like, when they're bad, they're bad. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, I guess you're right. Like, kudos for trying. You know, kudos for not just like following the same formula over and over and over, because that would get tired, of course. But there's just so many games, so many Kirby
Sonic
games.
only manages to barely skate by because they changed like a main gameplay mechanic, but the overall gameplay tends to stay the same. Kirby will just entirely shit like Kirby's Epic Yarn is, hey, what if you were Kirby but you couldn't fly or eat? And it's like, those are the two things he does.
They're like, but that's how Kirby was.
He has two buttons, fly and eat.
I'm looking forward to Rainbow Curse because I actually dig the clay aesthetic of that from what I've seen so far. So
I mean, look at the games that I play. I'm like, oh man, I love Dark Souls and Sekiro and World of Warcraft. Obviously, I'm miserable. I'm just like hating everything.
But on the plus side, you could probably name 50 different shades of brown.
Oh yeah.
So that's a plus. I count that.
My favorite
we
color
take those.
is underfoot mud.
Ooh, that's a fun one.
It's a good.
It tells a lot. It's got a lot of character to it. Yeah.
The color palette is so muddy that mud is just a type of color and not just a single color.
There we go. But yeah, so like,
anyway,
that's the one thing when it comes to Kirby games is like, I wish that most of these spin-off games were about like 60% as long, not half as long. I feel like that's a little much, but like 2/3 as long. Like, if it felt like you were moving forward a bit, or if it felt like the tedious parts weren't quite as tedious, like I still remember trying to 100% Kirby Mass Attack growing up. I'm relatively sure the DDD Resort file that's on that cartridge right there is mine, and I straight up was trying to not progress until I had fully 100%ed a stage, and it drove me mental. I spent weeks on it and eventually gave up halfway through the game. I just gave up with it because I was like, I
didn't think that was possible. I didn't think you did that.
Asinine. Some of these levels there's levels where you're actually at a severe disadvantage if you have 10 Kirby's compared to whatever the stage minimum is. There's one that came up recently. You're fighting, you're running away from this big ice dragon, and occasionally he charges the right side of the screen, and there is like barely enough space for the minimum on the screen to get in there.
Oh,
so
that's bullshit.
10, they're probably going to get hit, yeah. So like, it's tough, but so yeah,
I abandoned Mass Attack. So I mean, like,
we're almost done. We're in the last like real world at this point. So we're actually getting pretty close there. You actually never got hit by that. Yeah, if I am fairly convinced that if I had 10, then it would have happened. I think I had 6 for most of that. Oh no, I had 6 or 7 because I remember we got an 8th, and I made the joke about no Kirby should be born into this. As the dragon literally is and like running forward as it's coming like from the top screen down. Yeah. So 7 or 8. So I guess, all right, 10 wouldn't have been impossible, but it certainly would have been difficult. But yeah, so I guess that's Kirby's Mass Attack. Let's back it up. So Ring Fit Adventure is now our like start to the day on the schedule, just because we want to get those up early because a lot of people work out first thing in the morning.
Yeah,
and
he
just
gets
try
up
to,
at like 7.
What's that?
Said you get up at like 7?
I try. I set my alarm for 7. I have a hard time actually making it up here before like 7:30, 7:45. It's just so
it
damn
happens,
tough.
right? It's
It does.
it's a transition, right? Like
I had considered it, but I like. So my biggest thing when it comes to live streaming is I have to start spending time actually learning how to do like live production stuff.
And like effects and borders and things.
Yeah, because like with enough time, I probably could set up most of what the video would be as a live stream. I'd lose the title at the beginning, which is kind of a bummer because I do like having those in videos. Everything else is, I guess, possible, though I'd need to learn how to crossfade audio while live streaming, which is surprisingly difficult.
Yeah.
I don't know why they make that so difficult, but
Math, probably.
yeah. And I mean, I've reached a point where I have kind of a spot on the floor that I now recenter to.
I have a spot on the floor too where I just lay down and
There we go. I used to have to like move the video shot of me. You can see in the first couple episodes that the shot of me like looks like it's sliding a little bit because I was moving too far forward or left and right. So I've been a lot better about making sure I stay more or less in place. And I changed how the video is in there because I used to have to change how it was cropped. Like I was changing cropping percentage so you could see it kind of wiggle slightly because Premiere has like minimum like amounts that it'll do cropping because they took out the garbage mats for some stupid fucking reason years ago, and I'm still mad about that. You used to be able to do garbage mats by tenths of a pixel, so you could have really precise like flow between frames, and then they took that out. All forms of garbage mat. Instead, they give you crop, which is top, left, bottom, and right.
Corn, spinach,
Exactly.
barley.
Exactly. Wheat. The 4 and 8 point garbage mats, you could move them wherever. It didn't have to be a rectangle. This one has to be a rectangle. And it's now a tenth of a percentage is the smallest amount you can change. So if you're dealing with a video that's 1920 pixels wide, the smallest unit of change you can make is 1.9 pixels. It's ultra frustrating. It's super duper frustrating.
That's just such an odd.
And if you don't like that, the alternative is you can make you can do an opacity mask, which does not use numbers at all. You physically just move it around on the screen, and I loathe that because it's like, so I just have to vaguely guess that these lines are straight and I'm in the right spot that I want.
If you don't like that,
Yep.
then you can go fuck yourself.
Exactly.
Harsh.
Adobe like a year ago, Adobe finally caved and went, all right, guys, we'll make it so Premiere can read MKV files, which is the file format of high definition video of some 1080p and all 4K video.
I said some tiny p.
That too. But 4K video isn't stored in MP4 or .ts or .anything else because the file formats can't handle it. MKV is the only one that'll do 4K. So they supported it for about a year.
Thank goodness they went all up to 4Ks and didn't stop at 3.
I know. Yeah. Oh my God. That'd be terrible. About like a month ago, they went, nah, not enough people are using it, so we're just going to take it back out again. It's like, it's going to be the new standard very soon. This is so they're like, oh, you can use third-party things, and it's like, what third-party plugins even exist for that? It's incredibly difficult to search for Adobe Premiere plugins for this stuff. So it's
I
like,
can Google that so easy.
I mean,
Adobe Premiere plugins.
Oh damn,
Google.
he got it. He
Search-
figured it out.
search-
Shit, I didn't do that. Ah man, but yeah. So like,
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm so lost.
it's a rant at this point. It's dumb, but like I've figured out a way to do my editing such that I can at this point pretty reasonably just
Hi.
Jesus Christ.
heard Goj.
I thought someone
It was
was
just like screech,
I thought
screech,
someone
screech,
was
screech.
here.
ripping open the door.
Yeah, just hear this like claw 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 thing.
It was just a cat. Don't worry.
Yeah, but yeah,
Hi, what'd you do? Oh, yeah.
the videos are at a spot in terms of like the volume being pretty regulated because it's camera audio. And me finding my spot on the floor.
I literally thought it was Jeff breaking in. That's actually what I thought it was. But it was a cat running. Like
Yeah, Goj freaking the fuck out on the tile downstairs.
If I know what the title of the episode is going to be when I sit down to do the editing, I can basically put the title in, put the intro, outro, and set it to export. Like I don't have to do anything. Though that does come at the detriment of the audio is crap right now. I actually got a package in earlier today that is a shotgun mic that I'm going to test later on because I want to put that on there so the audio doesn't sound quite as, hey, I'm in a room and I'm filming my audio from a camera 12 feet away from me.
yeah.
But anyway, Ring of Adventure is going well, though. I did my seventh actual like workout today.
Oh, baby, you're so pointy. Come on.
Oh, God. I have yet to get a
Sorry.
full 5 in for a week. I got 3 in on the first week, plus like a calibration day where you like,
Well, you're
and then 4
lapping
this
me,
week.
So
Like from a bowl, like of
yeah,
milk.
Yeah, you're lapping a bowl of Ben.
A
And
bowl of
Rick's just
Ben's.
like,
Can I have tiny little bruises all over my
Oh my
leg?
god.
someone draw that fan art, please.
It's James Games. Hello.
Hey, JG.
We finished up not like this is like a huge ordeal, but we finished up Cadence of Hyrule Octavo's Ode. Today was the last episode of that. So that was good. I am glad that nobody was like, "Oh man, you're not going to go exploring once you're done with it." Like we already did that. We more or less we came very close to 100%ing Cadence of Hyrule the first time just because we were just looking around at shit. I think we left like 2 things behind, but Octavo's Ode, we were like, let's go to the ending, and we won't stall on this one. But it was a good time. Of course, bad timing. Jeff was in the bathroom when we fought the Necro Dancer, so that was unfortunate. But so he unfortunately wound up missing out on that. But yeah, so that was fun. It was a great excuse to play it again. I enjoy that one plenty.
But yeah, no, we're not going to go exploring because we did that already, and I think we've got a pretty good idea of the new stuff.
Yeah, exactly. There's not much of it. Not like that's a diss on the game, but like there's not a ton of new stuff. They added a few minor things here and there, but all in all, we kind of got the full experience. I think.
I don't know. It seems cool, but I don't think we need to do another 100% or whatever.
All right. So yeah, playing on co-op.
Not for episodes. I'd play that game again by myself for sure. But
I think Octavo's Ode is probably a more meaningful piece of story if you're doing it single player. That way, it's Octavo by himself doing this thing as opposed to Octavo with Link or Zelda. But we weren't gonna mess with that. But regardless, yeah, we're moving on to the second Tingle game, which minor spoilers. We've recorded a bit so far, and
just a little bit,
like maybe half an hour. So I think we did 2 episodes. Spoiler: it is a series to look forward to.
I think.
Yeah, so far
They're not hating it, so
not just not hating it, we're actually pretty invested and enjoying it. Like a pretty decent amount
As
so
much
far.
as it's
Ben's like,
possible for me to enjoy
"Ooh."
something.
I mean, yeah. Jeff and I were both enjoying it.
yeah.
Can't you
That's the
be
best I can
happy?
expect, though. The next game isn't a living hell.
Just
Like,
be
I'll
happy.
take that.
Well, like we're replacing
There you go.
it's a Zelda game where you can't fight
Ah.
and your wallet is your HP with a point and click adventure with no apparent like life death kind of thing going on. Like it's a point and click adventure. So I'm looking forward to how that one goes.
Yeah, that game
Yeah.
was just at best okay.
Tolerable at
At
times.
its best points, that game was like acceptable. And at its
Rosie
wor-
Rupee Land?
Yeah. And at its worst points, it was
Unbearable.
infuriatingly frustrating.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it was very clear from both of our voices and our tones during especially that middle third. By the end, we figured out the right, like, we got a good pace going. We started looking up the more cryptic shit.
Yeah.
The beginning was fine.
It goes to show, like, in order to like get anywhere, we had to go and look everything up
I would be willing to bet
to make it even vaguely interesting for the episodes, not just wandering for 20 episodes in a row.
Exactly. And like the nature of a point and click adventure game makes it really difficult for that to be a thing. Like you would have to get into some real like I don't it feels unfair to even say Monkey Island because Monkey Island didn't have much in the way of like total cheap shots out of nowhere either.
Yeah.
There are point and click adventures where you have to just make shit up basically. Oh, we did oh my god. I was gonna say Drakengard. That's not right. What was the a few years ago for the Fright Before Christmas? We played a point and click adventure game. I was actually a point and click adventure game. I think it was at least an adventure game, but it took place in a castle, and you were trying to escape the castle.
Oh, the one that Dustin wanted us
Yeah.
to play. I don't remember what it was called.
I don't know why I was thinking Drakengard because
No, I
it's
know what
obviously
you're
not
talking
that, but not Gods Will Be Watching.
No,
that was a huge mistake, and one of the biggest letdowns I've ever seen in like an indie game that I was
Shadowgate?
really
That
excited.
sounds right.
Shadowgate, that's the one.
Sounds
Yes,
right,
Castle
yeah.
Shadow. Well, Shadowgate, and I think the castle is called Castle Shadowgate also. But yes, Shadowgate. Gods Will Be Watching was such a fucking disappointment. That bummed me out so much.
It was like it just needed to be tuned better, I think.
It needed to be,
something,
the difficulty needed to be drastically reduced. Like, we played on literal the easiest difficulty that the game would give us, and it still took a long-ass time, and we were looking up everything. Kick Day is the only thing that wasn't hot garbage that came out of that series.
And even that, I feel like you fucking hate still.
I'm more
for a while.
I'm more ambivalent to it. I think John, if you're listening, overdid it slightly at the time, but I'm more ambivalent to it right now.
I think Kick Day was just like we have to rip some kind of enjoyment out of this cesspool of hate.
I think the problem
we pulled Kick Day out of it.
How do you really feel, Ben?
I'll take that. Sure.
The problem for me was all three of us were hating the experience, and you and John had found Kick Day as the one thing to latch onto.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I was still actively playing it,
yeah,
so I was stuck in the mindset of I need to figure out the way to get through this. And now these two knuckleheads are doing this Kick Day thing. And I
not
can't
helping at
and
all.
I was like,
I just
can't
need to kill them
concentrate.
now.
And there's the
The
barricade
opposite
is
of
coming
helping,
down.
making it harder by like yelling in your ear about Kick Day.
Oh man,
I just
damn.
need to turn around and stab them
But
all.
I needed it. I needed. Kick
I'm
Day.
happy to report that we actually started already on Boss for Kingdom Hearts 2, and it's going well so far. Actually,
Yeah,
We're going-
not too long on any of them. Like, a
Yeah.
couple tries on each one, but nothing insane.
one of them was on the first try, and then when I looked
That's
up
fair, okay.
how people grade those bosses, it was one of the ones they consider one of the more difficult. Well,
I mean, to
some
each
people
their
rate
own
it-
fight style, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Some of them rate this one as one of the more difficult ones because of how chaotic it is. Some of them rank it fairly low because if you figure out ways to cheese it, then I guess it's pretty easy to sort out. But like we just kind of did it on the first one, which is pretty nice. But yeah, we're
There you
actually
go.
moving faster than what I would have considered to be like the
reasonable
expected rate.
expectation.
Yeah, slower. I think we're ahead of schedule on that one, so that'll be good. But those actually start Sunday. The first one of those is coming Sunday. Tomorrow, probably late, is going to be the stream is going to go up of the Gummy Ship thing as episode 83, and then episode 84 is the first episode of boss fight stuff. But so also I found a ship that helped out with some of those Gummy Ship missions since then. We're not going to record the other Gummy Ship missions. I think the one stream is probably more than sufficient for that. I wish that I had checked. I'll put it this way: I wish I had checked the peak blueprints a little earlier in the night because some of them make some of those missions a fucking cakewalk. So, but yeah, so we did Zelda. So Tingle's coming up on that. Pokemon. Let's Go Eevee is all set. It's back over to John for Pikachu, though I know John's super busy with stuff, so we might be a couple weeks before we can make that happen. Pokemon Sword, we got through 3 gyms. We've
chugging.
returned to the wild area and are about to head north.
Pokemon's a hard game to make everyone happy with.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you try too hard, then some people are like, well, you're not going to enjoy the game if you're being a tryhard. And then if you just enjoy the game, people are like, you're using the wrong Pokemon. You're ignoring the good Pokemon. So
which like
and like I
which
do
has
that.
always been impossible.
Right,
From day
right.
one, there was 151 Pokemon, and you could only use 6. Like
And part of that is to the game's benefit, where like it is able to work for both people who take the game seriously and people who are 11 and
It's
are
tough.
just playing Pokemon because they think they're cute.
well, that's kind of
Which are both valid, and I think
Yeah.
it's nice that the game is able to kind of handle both of those. That was kind of always my argument for Melee. Like, if you just want to do a free-for-all and use items, it works perfectly fine, and it doesn't matter if you can, like, wave dash and drill shine and shine, you're good at shine spiking. Or like, it doesn't fucking matter because there's 3 other people throwing Pokeballs at you.
Yep.
But it also is able to handle like a very competitive game. So games that are able to do both are impressive to me. And right now we're just fucking having fun. We're like,
it's
we're
meant
just
to
dicking
be
around. It's whatever.
Yeah, this was sort of meant to be a counterpart to the Pokemon Rivals series, where that's meant to be like careful strategy as best we can. We're not always very good at it, but we're at least like aiming to strategize and keep our Pokemon safe,
Yeah.
and we're nuzlocking it, so we're keeping them alive.
Yeah.
And like we're taking it slower to be more deliberate with our actions there. less so with Pikachu and Eevee. The difficulty dropped like a rock in that one, so that hasn't been a big issue. But
yeah, I'm also trying to use as many new Pokemon as possible. I want to do that. Jeff, I'm sure, wants to do that.
I'm interested
Everyone
in it
wants
too.
to see the new Pokemon.
Absolutely.
So that's just kind of
but yeah, so like that's the whole thing is like Pokemon Sword is meant to be a way more relaxed pace situation. The game also seems to enforce it pretty strongly. Like it's like we're not grinding I say you guys aren't grinding at all,
and there's no
and you're
need to
scraping up against that like level cap constantly
for the catches. It's a little
like the Pokemon that you catch on your own can then level up beyond that cap, but like up until the third gym, you like between the second and third gyms, your catch cap is 30.
Yeah,
and I believe your top Pokemon was 28 by the end of that battle, maybe 29.
Right there.
So like
all of your Pokemon are always automatically getting EXP share. The Pokemon that aren't even in your party, you can send on missions to get experience, and that could be huge chunks, like several thousand experience at a time.
I think the ideal gamer solution TM for Pokemon, which I am going to preface by saying that they will never do this. They will never do it. They've only even approached it once, and it's the closest they're ever going to come to this, is having difficulty levels for Pokemon. And in the ideal utopian solution for this, you would have an easy mode where you don't have to do any grinding. You're kind of relatively well paced, even if you're just kind of catching random dudes as you go, and maybe encounter rates are a little higher and catch rates are a little bit higher, and like everything's a little softer in general. You have your neutral mode, which is meant to be a bit more challenging, but not like nuts. Like it's your standard averagey kind of like Gen 2 through, or I guess like Gen 3 through 6-ish kind of difficulty, where it was like, it could be kind of tough, but it was nothing you couldn't necessarily handle. And then a hard difficulty, which either is a difficult or a literal actual Nuzlocke style thing.
What is it that applied those actual rules?
Pokemon Insurgents, you had a Nuzlocke mode. Something like that where the levels are probably higher to make it actively challenging. Like you really are going to need to grind to keep up. And maybe the move sets that trainers use are a little bit better positioned to like defend against super effective types and stuff.
Yeah, have some type coverage, seeing more effective moves show up on trainer Pokemon earlier, that kind of stuff. Nothing that would actually change the core mechanics of how the game works.
Yeah, the game should work the same on all three of those.
Yeah.
But
you can't really do like crits hit harder in hard mode because
exactly the whole meta vanishes at that point. Like it has to be consistent on all of them because you should be able to trade with and battle against each other regardless of your difficulty level.
You can make like items maybe cost more and trainers give you less money, so your resources are a bit more limited. Kind of minor things like that. I
want to say the closest they've ever come to enacting that is, I think it was for Black and White 2. Someone can correct me if I get that one wrong. I believe Black and White 2 actually did have some kind of difficulty selector, and it was like a normal hard kind of thing. I think I may be wrong on that one, and I've never played Black or White 2. This is all stuff that I've like kind of heard through in Mr. X or Nemesis, either one stalks you there, and it was implemented awfully. Yeah, that's the thing, is no comment on the implementation, but of Black and White 2 had a 2 difficulty selector at the start of the game. I think it was just normal and hard. Or no, it was easy and normal, and I think easy was like, it just knocked levels down and reduced the number of Pokemon they had.
Really
Oh, you need to beat the game first. Oh, hilarious. All right. Unlock
you had
it.
to beat the game to get the easy mode?
Oh, that's hilarious. Black 2 had hard and White 2 had easy, which is kind of insulting because if you just pick up White 2, you're like, sweet, this has Kyurem, which I like, and it's got...
That's awful.
Yeah, or not Kyurem, Reshiram.
That's straight up dumb.
Yeah. That's super, like, imagine getting White 2 and really loving it, and then you beat the game and it's like, now you can play on easy mode. I'm like, well, I don't really care about that. And then you talk to your best friend.
Beat it. Yeah, and then they get hard mode.
It's like, dude, I just started hard mode. What about you? And you're like, wait, what?
No, I got the baby version of like, it doesn't make any sense to unlock easy mode after you've beaten normal.
Right? Like, there are games that'll do that, and it feels weird to do that without also unlocking a hard mode.
That's just awful implementation. Temtem, I don't know anything about it except it's interesting.
I
don't really know much about it.
I've heard Temtem is totally going to take down Pokemon, just like Yokai Watch and Digimon did before it.
Well, I've never heard of Yokai Watch before. I have heard of Temtem.
Okay. Yokai Watch was big about like 5 years ago, I think was like the peak. Maybe a little after that.
Digimon, I feel like, just wasn't really good. Temtem actually seems like a good game, but I don't know.
It's tough, right? Because it seems like it's almost impossible to come up with a monster catching game that doesn't seem
bigger
like
in
it's
Japan.
grifting off of Pokemon just
I
by
mean,
virtue of having, because it's like
It is like that's fine. I like
Yeah.
it. Okay, I get it, but like
yeah.
at the same time, like, so no one can ever make a monster RPG anymore without saying they're ripping off Pokemon. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
I
mean, there's certain points for which you're copying, but yeah,
Digimon was not a Pokemon clone, but
it was very different.
Certainly marketed as being like a direct competitor franchise-wise. Like it still
Digimon?
made
yeah.
Digimon.
Digimon, digital monsters.
But like they made plenty of games.
Stuffily.
Oh yeah, I'm actually amazed I'm not stuffy. Usually I am at night. Digimon. I mean, I think so because they had Tamagotchi was like their, or Tamagotchi was their like.
Is that the same company?
It's not. I don't think. I know Digimon has a connection with Banpresto, and I don't know if. Actually, no. Do they have a connection with it? I think they have a connection with Banpresto, and I don't remember who Tamagotchi came from initially. But they basically Digimon I think started with a Tamagotchi like
Oh, well, that clears it up.
like a Tamagotchi like game setup. It was basically, if anything, Digimon is more of a Tamagotchi ripoff or clone, I guess, than a Pokemon one. But regardless, Banpresto is just part of Bandai. Oh, I guess that makes sense. Bandai, Banpresto. Okay, all right, neat.
Bandai.
Which Bandai is part of Namco Bandai, so that's proof that Pac-Man is a Digimon. I think it's all connected, guys.
Next character in Smash is
Agumon, I would be all about.
Yeah,
I would love
a single Digimon.
Could you imagine how much people would shit themselves to finally have a game where Pikachu and Agumon can fight? I think people would actually be all about that.
I would not care to have Agumon in my Smash game, but
I think Agumon is
I also
fine.
am not happy ever about anything that ever exists. So
You're so
Pac-Man's
grumpy,
also in Mario
Ben.
Kart.
Are you channeling Goj?
yeah,
Grumpus?
I'm spending too much time with the Goj.
This is the only series that can announce that they're doing paid DLC now, and I'm happy because it's better than what they were doing before. Oh, Pokemon or
Well, we just had I don't know if that episode
we had our
went up yet.
oh yeah
but
no
we-
it totally went up. We had our misunderstanding about it and then correction, which
yeah.
as predicted, a lot of people were like, guys, okay,
Yeah.
they figured it out.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay.
I hope to see a lot of edit. Oh, okay.
There were a few of those. I part of me wants to know more details about the two like new sub-region story arcs they're doing, but also part of me's like, oh, but I would rather experience it for myself, kind of thing. But the fact that they're just dropping 200 more Pokemon in for free is good. Yeah. That is a good thing. I think they understand that they would have been like set on fire if they tried to actually charge money to do that too. Later, John.
Herbity herb.
DLC instead of final mix. Well, I was actually going to comment on that the next time we sat down for real episodes. Is like the old Kingdom Hearts games did final mix releases, and they would have to do all these side games. There's literally, I think, 7 between Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3 because up until not long ago, DLC was not really an option. Like you weren't going to do DLC for a PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't then go, here's the final mix DLC. So now they have, I think, Remind is the name of the DLC kind of chapter for Kingdom Hearts 3. They're announcing a new mythical Pokemon on February 27th. Interesting. Okay. I guess that's probably going to, and it's not the grass, the shaman-esque grass elk mythical thing that they have for oh my god, this was the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra, I think is the other one. Side games were because no more was wrapped up in Final Fantasy Versus 13. Well, I mean, they sort of announced it. They say what the name was and stuff, but wasn't already in the code that we knew about already, which is like big. I mean, it's a sign that they stopped fucking up with their
I thought you were
data.
saying it wasn't in the code, but we somehow already knew about it.
Well, that's the problem. Is that's how we learned about like Hoopa and a bunch of those. It was all in there, and it's like there's only so many times you can do this before you have to learn. Like, hey, maybe the unreleased shit should just be patched in
Yeah.
since we can do that. Like
it happens. It
ugh.
happens over and over.
It's
but again,
so
they don't-
dumb.
it doesn't matter because little kids are still like don't know about it until it's
yeah,
out.
but the
'cause-
data miners will
because little
grab it and go
children
like,
don't
look
go
at
on
this
the
shit.
Internet, of course.
Well, like that's how we learned about thing like what thousand knives or whatever the hell. There's like a signature move for Zygarde that never got
oh,
like
yeah.
there's moves that have never been used because they were coded in and they just never got unlocked basically.
right.
Yeah,
Actually, yeah, that's right. There was stuff that were like, oh, this move is
Oh,
broken
yeah,
as
that's
all
right.
hell, and that just didn't
they're
exist.
they're remaking the first Mystery Dungeon game for the Switch, and that's coming out in February as well. Which is neat.
They can't even make a new mystery dungeon. They got to remake.
It's
an old one?
someone did mention that like Pokemon Yellow got remade as 2 games, and then the 2 Mystery Dungeon games got remade as 1 game.
Hey.
So they're back to even. They've remade 3 games into 3 games, and it's all good.
I've never played any of the mystery dungeon games. Someone tell me why I'm wrong for not having played any of them.
Technically, you did, didn't you? You played a very tiny amount. Oh no, were you not?
I don't think so.
I thought you played Super Mystery Dungeon. Was that just me and John?
I don't think I was there. It doesn't.
I
sound
thought you were
familiar.
there for that. We played 4 episodes of it, and then we passed on it because we weren't really. It wasn't really
So
latching on.
bad.
That seems to be a trend with us in Pokemon games. We did the same thing with Pokken Tournament. We played literally one
yeah.
episode and never came back to it. Not because it was bad. I think if anything, it was a little bit. It felt a little bit dry. Like it was like, all right, so it's kind of Pokemon, kind of Tekken. And after an episode,
Yeah,
we were
it's
like,
Pokken.
yeah, I was like, well, all right. I feel like we got most of the enjoyment that we're likely to get out of this,
Yeah.
but
It'll
yeah,
be interesting. I mean, it's more of an RPG, like a RPG man's RPG than a Pokemon RPG, right?
Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah.
It's a roguelike.
Oh, it's a roguelike. Oh.
If anything, it's got more in common with something like Cadence of Hyrule than anything else. If you had a non-rhythmic version of Cadence of Hyrule,
That sounds pretty cool, actually.
I'm sure there's a name that might just be a style of roguelike where or that's just a staple of roguelikes where every step you take, enemies take a step at the same time, as opposed to just randomly generated dungeons as the baseline. I think roguelite is one that's randomly generated dungeons, and that's your progression. Roguelike, I think it's everyone moves at the same time.
How are we gonna handle evolving Tumpy-Nards? Is that the cream puff?
Yeah, you have to trade Tumpy-Nards with like a specific move in order to evolve it.
I mean, either we'll figure it out or he'll get bumped from the team eventually, probably. I mean, one, not a new Pokemon.
It is.
He's not. That's a new Pokemon
Yep.
for this game?
Yeah.
Little cream puff guy? Little fairy thing?
Yep. You're thinking. So there's
Slurpuff.
no Slurpuff is old. This one's new.
Yeah, I thought Slurpuff was the evolved version of this one.
No, they're
Oh.
unrelated. This game has 2 like deserty looking Pokemon.
Yeah, Tumpy-Nards from Gen 6.
Tumpy-Nards from Gen 6. Wait. Oh, that's right. It's Swirlix. I'm thinking of the one that's like a cake. There's one that looks kind of like a swirly cake. Is that Alcremie? Alcremie? It's a gross ass name. Alcremie. It's supposed to be like alchemy.
I
and
was
creamy.
right. I know my
Okay.
Pokemans. And honestly,
I was mixing up Tumpy-Nards with Alcremie. I know
Obviously.
that Swirlix evolves into Slurpuff. I forgot that Tumpy-Nards was Swirlix.
I don't know. I'm not super attached. To
Oh,
it. We'll
Cumdrop.
see, maybe.
Cumdrop evolves into Creamy.
Yeah.
Albert Creamy.
Albert,
Creamy Albert.
Albert Cream. Albert Creams.
It probably does.
So I don't know.
I don't
Maybe
know.
we'll figure out how to trade it if I don't know.
Maybe,
I don't know.
maybe
I don't
not.
know. But the answer is I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like you guys are probably going to just play it by ear.
Yeah, we'll
And
figure it out, man.
Yep. I mean, again, you're only allowed to have 6 Pokemon on your team at a time, and there's another, 100 or so Pokemon for this game. There's only so many that we're gonna see over the course of the run.
We might rotate through all 5 slots of our team that isn't our starter.
Yep.
I don't know.
We will see. We'll have to see. So Sonic.
6 Milceries.
Oh God. Sonic is going well. Sonic Heroes. We've actually a little lean ahead. We have completed the recording of Sonic Heroes. We have finished that in its entirety. We have a few more episodes that are left in the can, and then we're moving on to the next Sonic game. Finally, at long last.
What is the next Sonic game?
The next one, I guess we can. I don't think there's anything secret about this one. The next one is
someone knows already, I'm sure.
Probably. The next one up is Sonic Advance 3, which I don't know much about. I didn't play much of that one.
Yeah, but I feel like the advanced games were like decently made.
They're
right?
okay. They're the level design.
Short.
The level design tends to be a bit cruel in times, but they're generally fairly quick and breezy compared to Sonic Heroes for sure. But so that's the next thing that's come up there. There's not a lot to talk about on that one. A shout out to Nono Riri for sending us a GameCube memory card that contains a 100% completion file for Sonic Heroes, because that looked like it would have been torturous to do for real, and that's even compared to doing the exact same thing for Sonic Advance, Sonic Adventure, and Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah.
So that is cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, Sonic Advance 3 has you have a partner with you along with, which makes it the obvious second installment of the trilogy of Knuckles Chaotix, Sonic Advance 3, and Sonic Mania Plus. So that's we're getting along in that storyline with all the deep story that's contained within. We talked about Kirby already. Resident Evil 2 is going pretty well. We've actually been making pretty solid progress. We're down into the lab, not the lab. We're into the sewers at this point. We're getting a lot more story than I would have anticipated. We're getting a ton more relevant storyline out of Claire's run than we got out of Leon's. Leon's felt like Resident Evil 1, where you're learning a very small amount. Claire's one, I feel like we're learning a shitload about what's going on.
With any luck, by the time we're done with this game, the new Resident Evil 3 will be out.
That's the goal. I think we'll make that goal, because we've got Resident Evil 2, which I'm at least halfway through it, probably more. For Claire's story, and then CJ wanted to mess around with some of the little side games in there to kind of burn some time between now and then, because we will probably be done with Claire's story in February, and the new one comes out in April 3rd, I think, is Resident Evil 3. So that'll be cool. I'm looking forward to that. Another brand new one there, or brand new. Stays upload an old one. It must have been, yeah. But yeah, so. That's going pretty well there.
As long as people are enjoying it,
Yeah, it seems like people are doing pretty decent with that. What else?
And we get to the point where all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's been an hour. Time to rapid fire the last 14.
Yeah, right. We talked about Kingdom Hearts. We're already into the Organization 13 data boss rush. That's just going to be kind of slamming our head on it.
Those look brutal.
There are some that are going to be harder than others. We're doing okay so far. We're max level, so that helps. We're getting through them. We're getting through them faster than I thought we would. So that's
Being
my
ahead of schedule is always a nice thing.
Yeah. So that's been going well. Ouya Oh No has been going well as well.
That's the best. Those are the best.
I love that. I wish there's a part of me that wishes that we had been.
That was such an awful idea at first, and then I was like, actually, no, this was working.
Yeah.
That was working for me.
It's the evil twin of all of our various mini console ones, where it's we're gonna play an episode of all these NES games, and they're all like, what are you gonna say that's bad about an NES game? It's like, oh, it's a little bit stiff, or oh, the controls aren't great. For this, it's like, oh my god, this isn't even a game. Holy, we got another developer. The developer behind Wrecking Ball's Arena retweeted our video last week, being like, oh man, everyone should check out this hilarious review of a terrible game I made when I was 17. And I was like,
nice.
Yes.
Good for him. That's the
Her.
only. Her. Sorry.
That's why you go with them,
I mean,
Ben. You're never wrong then.
She was saying that looking back on it, I don't even recognize how I could have possibly made this awful thing in the first place.
Hey,
at least she
having a
was
good sense
super
of
chill
humor
about it, right?
And just hey, I made this when I was a kid. But that's if you want to make games,
how you
just
learn,
fucking make
right?
games, and
Yeah.
it's okay if they suck. It's fine. Good for you.
Someone might laugh at them, but
Good
that's
for you,
okay.
Whoever that is.
Yep.
I don't know who it is.
Exactly. Oh man. Yeah. So far, we haven't had any developers be mad at us, which is nice.
Yay.
Which is great, because I think we've had 2 developers of games that we've covered where we've been generally negative on it be like, hey, that's awesome. And I think we've had 2 that have been like, hey, I'm glad you liked it. So doing well so far.
Glad you liked it when we were like shit on it?
No, glad you liked it when we enjoyed the game, which is
Oh.
obvious. But like, there were 2 that we didn't like, where the devs have been like, hell yeah, that game
Okay.
sucks.
They're like, we know.
Yeah, Wrecking Ball's Arena was the one where it looked like it was drawn in marker on paper,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you got 4 people on your team. And
Oh,
they
I remember
attack
Wrecking Ball's
everybody.
Arena. I haven't forgotten that one.
Yep, I was just informing. Yeah,
Yeah.
the oh man, it wasn't not the one that was there was one that was fairly recent that looked like Towerfall, not that one. This is the one where you're like on a beach as 4 teams of 4
Yeah.
marker
And you can,
styled people.
You can like move to one of your 4 balls to like take control of it or something.
Yeah. Yep. And like there was an A mode and a B mode. A was for attack and B was block.
Yeah.
And
It was,
like
sort of rock paper.
there was, like-
scissors-y, but you could pick up items.
yeah, I think there were like sunglasses. There was like a skateboard.
It was really funny.
The beach one, yeah, the beach
like,
one.
It was a bad game. Of
Oh, it was-
course,
it was awful.
But it was entertaining as we were doing it. You know?
Yeah. I can't read it if it's blue on black. There we go. Oh, Mega Man Star Force is finally about to get started. We were planning on having it start this week, but partly just because time is tight
Booyah.
this week, and also, oh god, partly because Jeff is feeling sick, and also partly because we're kind of short on time this weekend because of the Super Bowl. I believe we're going to be pushing that one back to next week, not this coming week, but the week after. And then
what?
we will Mega Man Star Force.
Oh,
That one finally begins.
Man.
I'm looking forward to that because I know basically nothing about it. I know
It's not-
3 characters' names,
It's not even that mega.
and so I know Geostellar is the main character. I know Omega Exis is your Mega Man.exe style buddy, and I know Luna Platz because that name is dumb.
All those names are dumb.
And I believe that you
All
rather
the-
than having
all
a
the enemy names are dumb. Like Gutsman is a dumb fucking name.
rather than having a PET, a personal terminal, aka a pet, to communicate with your NetNavi, now you use actually I don't know if it's how you communicate or how you merge with them, but you use what's called a transer, which is, I feel like the context of that in 2008
What's that
is going to
abbreviated
be,
to?
it's not.
Oh.
I think that's going to come with some interesting lines that are going to feel real weird 12 years later.
Can't wait to just barely acknowledge what it sounds like on mic.
Yep. I'm trying to remember. There was one that was. Oh God. There was also Mega Man X Command Mission. Axel had a skill called A-Trans, and he yelled A-Trans as he used it, which made it very, very difficult to ignore.
Yeah.
So this is at least
not
its own
appropriate.
real word. Yeah, trans-er. A thing that transfers or
But they just forgot the letter
transition.
F.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Nobody in this universe can pronounce. So it's just
It's the key is broken, so there's
yeah.
like I don't just do the rest of it. Just do the rest of it. But yeah, no, it looks interesting. It basically is like, hey, what if the cross fusion thing from the anime was just a main mechanic of the series? And I was like, that sounds cool. I'm all about that.
Okay.
So that'll be fun.
Was it the Zero games on Game Boy Advance? Those bosses had cool names, I think, right? They were pretty cool. Or
Some of them were
cool.
good. Some of them were not.
The
were not
designs
good.
looked cool. That's what it was.
It was like, oh man, Blizzard Stagroth or something. Like there was.
I kind of like that. It's like over the top, but not lame over the top. Like
Anubis Necromancis the 30th or whatever.
like that's just it's so ridiculous. I kind of like it. It's kind of like past the point of awful that it's like a little
Yeah.
endearing.
It's kind of like,
I don't
okay,
know.
all right.
I don't know.
Web Spider.
just-
Web
okay.
Spider. Web Spider was a Mega Man X boss. His
Web-
name is Duff McWhalen.
Web Spider. It's just like, oh, that's Fly Duck.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There were a few that were that bad. That's one of the worst ones for
that's
sure. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Star Force.
Well, that's
I think that's
possum.
actually kind of it as far as games and things. Everything else is either like on some kind of hiatus or is otherwise like when we've got the right combination of people around to do it.
And
which is nice because it gives us a chance to mix stuff up when we've got CJ or John or Dustin or whoever around for stuff.
Yeah, we've had a bit mid to late December with Christmas and everything. There was a lot of missed stuff.
Yeah.
Most of January was a lot of missed stuff.
Yep.
Busy.
Weekends, just
Yep.
busy.
We
Which,
traveled. I
you know-
traveled 5 times in 4 weeks. So
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's good for your mental,
Right.
to be moving around in January because otherwise you're just sitting in a dark room all day. That's what
no,
I've been doing.
that's true.
Let me tell you.
I have a bonus video that I've yet to actually put together
Stop judging me. man.
related to the Florida trip. I meant to do it like right after.
Oh yeah, I
and then stuff
Dropboxed
got
you the
busy,
videos
yeah.
and everything.
I got some videos
Oh,
and things
God,
to
cat.
do that.
Nobody's
no.
really
He's
sure where
so
Lindsay is. She could
heavy.
be anywhere. She could be here
She could
right
be
now.
here. She could be standing
in-
right there.
She could be in your attic. You could be in your attic. She's both everywhere and nowhere.
To quickly answer the question, so to help curb any possible spoiler talk, I don't think any of us have seen the final season at all yet of The Good Place. The Good Place just ended last night.
You might be Lindsay. Just
You could be.
check
You
your
could be.
mirror.
But yeah, we have not watched any of season 4. I think we're all caught up to the end of season 3. And then someone was also asking about Doctor Who recently, and we are on the season finale of what I believe is Peter Capaldi's last season.
We took a hiatus from watching that too.
Yeah, that's been on me. I've been too busy at night, and
I just watched, I believe, all that was available for me to watch of Goblin Slayer,
oh boy,
which
I've heard after the first episode that show is interesting.
I feel like the first episode got drummed up a bit more than like
I know.
I've seen a lot of like
I think the manga is supposed to be
maybe the manga's worse.
like orders of magnitude worse in terms of like how it
I believe
represents that.
Mostly the show has just been kind of blood and gory.
Yeah,
But
that one was infamous like a year or two ago for like just how fucking far it went in terms of like, here's the thing we're going to do for the sake of the progression of this story. And everyone went, whoa, too much.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched and I was like, oh, I mean, that's pretty shocking. And then they just kind of,
Maybe it's just that like
yeah,
in the late
the
80s,
shock value or off. Yeah, it was like that first episode, and it was like, oh shit, okay, they're going there with the show, and then they kind of backed off. It's like, nah, just blood, just violence.
I'm gonna say I don't know much about that show, but from what I know about the first episode, and it sounds like it's got less to do with like the shock value is less, and it's more like they went, here's like the shock value for most of the season, and then literally like they just went to the almost maximum point you could realistically get to and not get straight up like censored at this point. For the first episode only, like the rest of the season doesn't touch that level of like dark fucked
not
up.
showing it. They like kind of reference themes and things that happen.
Sure, yeah.
Throughout the series, but it's never. It's never like on screen.
Yeah.
Again, really.
It's surprisingly difficult to dance around like actively stating what happens there, but if you're squeamish about basically anything, just don't even try it.
It's a rough show to get through if you aren't into like
there was
shock and gore. And,
there was an era in the 80s going into like the early 90s where that was a pretty common, not super common, but like there was a whole subgenre of anime that just seemed to really gravitate toward dark, fucked up, violent shit.
Yeah, so that's the thing is I watched a lot of that.
Yeah.
Like
I like Elfen Lied, and that's like the lowest tier of like fucked up violence and
like
horrible
like
shit.
Ninja Scroll was like just normal shit to us.
Is that the one with the rabbits? The rabbits is like
the ninjas and the scrolls.
Okay, well, hey, I don't know. There's one with weird mutant ass rabbits that is like legendarily, infamously like way fucked up.
Ninja Scroll just has lots of blood and gore and rape and like lots of it.
Okay.
But I remember I don't mean my friend. It was probably high school, I guess. And you could rent VHSs of these animes from that like late 80s 90s anime stuff that they didn't really know how to rate them because it was animated, so it's just a cartoon.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, go for it. You can have it.
And no one obviously watched it.
I think that's how the movie X, or the movie Treatment, I think originally it was originally it was a manga, then became a series, then became an OVA. Maybe the last two were switched, but that aired on some normal ass TV channel, and the end of it involves the entire world having descended into war and killing everybody, and only two people are left, and they're best friends from childhood, and one is forced to end the war by decapitating his best friend, and it ends with him cradling the head of his best friend while he cries, and the credits roll, and it's like,
For
wow.
kids! It's
How the fuck did I... And I watched the last 10 minutes of it, and I was like, how is this on basic ass TV?
Yeah, it was just it's a cartoon. I don't know,
man.
Put on the kids show or the kids.
And I think Tokyo Ghoul is the one that I was describing, the one with the rabbits, where literally I've seen the last scene of the show. I don't even know how I wound up finding it in the first place, but it's literally
some people from work have said that Tokyo Ghoul is real good, but I don't know anything about it.
I mean, I guess mild spoiler, but I think it's the last shot of the last sequence of the entire show / season is
I'll never watch
what looks to be a city or a town, I guess, that is being overrun by these 50-foot tall mutant rabbit man things that are doing all kinds of very difficult to describe horrible things to people, and just gleefully tearing them apart and eating and drinking and all of that. And it's
when you eat and drink people, you kind of
I'm not even joking. They do
a
thing that I don't want to even really get into that results in them being able to drink people.
Yeah, no, I
Another one where if you're squeamish, don't go looking for it.
I have visuals in my head. Don't worry, I got it.
Yep. They have to eat human flesh. So maybe not Tokyo Ghoul then. I thought that was the one. I wonder if I can just find the name of it.
The point is I don't know. Just a lot of these Patreon things, I usually talk about what anime I've watched because it's not a lot.
Oh.
And we have a lot of fans who are big fans of anime. And
not Tokyo Ghoul. Sorry, Blood Sea is the one that I was thinking of.
I need to catch up on the most recent season of My Hero, which is a show that I have really enjoyed so far.
Not My Hero Academia?
My Hero Academia.
Oh, okay. I was like, is that a separate show or is that the same one?
No, just a shortened version of the name.
Gotcha.
I think I can kind of binge now. I can safely binge what's out there right now. And I like to binge that show because
there's a movie coming, or another movie coming out fairly soon, I think. The second one, apparently.
I feel like it's one of those shows that moves a little slow, not like Dragon Ball Z levels of slow, but there's just always the next thing that's going to happen, and I want to watch it right away. You know what I mean? There's not quite enough happens in a insulated episode. I have watched all of Mob Psycho 100, and that was great. That was really enjoyable. I like that show a lot.
I am eagerly awaiting the day we either get another season of or another movie of Madoka Magica. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
No, but you've tried to get me to watch it.
It's it's one of those ones where that along with Princess Tutu are two ones where if you describe the basic premise and you get interrupted before you finish the thought, it's okay, it sounds like some magical girl kind of style thing, and it's yes, sort of. So if anyone's not familiar, Madoka Magica is it's a magical girl anime where they just deconstruct the entire genre and make it pretty fucked up, not to necessarily a super violent or gory kind of way, but they kind of implies what if the basis for a magical girl setup, that world that it is this really dark, depressing thing that is like forcing you to do this, as opposed to, oh, I'm gonna transform and save stuff. Hooray!
Okay. Madoka Magicus to Magic Girls. What event?
Is there another one?
Is to
Fuck
giant
yeah.
robots. That puts it
Yeah,
in
okay.
context for me.
That's a good. I like that. That's a really good comparison. Yes.
cool.
But sweet. We're gonna get another anime. So they did a season of the show, and then they did an OV. Well, they did 3 OVAs. The first 2 were kind of OVA recaps, essentially, of the season, and then they did the third one was a full like season 2, essentially, as an OVA, and the ending of that went into some real weird places, and I'm intrigued to see where things go following that. Grant's a spin-off based on a mobile game. I mean, that's fine. I'll take anything.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, there could be a good core to that. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's like devoid of any substance.
It's got
That's
amazing visuals, really well-created visuals and stuff too. But I feel like I probably should have moved the camera like 5 minutes ago. But I feel like we're probably like
that's kind of hitting my time limit.
Yeah,
too,
you have
so.
stuff you got to do. We should wrap this up. If there's any last questions, this is a good time for it. Otherwise, I think we're gonna call it.
Yeah, this is fun.
This was pretty good.
I didn't hate this.
We'll have a lot more to talk about.
I do have to go
in the next one. The February one, we're definitely gonna have a lot more. What comes after Kingdom Hearts 2? So that we're kind of figuring out as far as timing and scheduling and all that kind of thing. But
not more Kingdom Hearts.
I've got a pretty good plan for what's gonna happen next. And I think it will hopefully satisfy most folks, if not everybody.
What we'll do is we'll play the Kingdom Hearts trading card game live on camera.
There we go. How do you feel about Ragman getting his rags back in the Arrow finale? I don't know, because I'm still confused about the fact that I saw a shot of Infinite Crisis
Bloodborne.
for like the big finale, and apparently Arrow is a completely different. It has the powers of a completely different character now, probably temporarily, but still.
Are we adding something in February?
We're not.
I think we're just kind of getting back on track.
We're getting back on track. Anything that's new is replacing old stuff, and I think we're actually taking stuff out as well. So like, no, February should be fine.
Might be a rough month for me personally.
Yeah, you have a lot of stuff going on in February.
My work is about to get fucking slammed, and I'm going to be doing a lot of overtime, and my weekends I might not want to spend them doing too much recording.
No.
So.
That's totally
I might be
understandable.
spending time working on the weekends in addition to doing like overtime during the week. So I'll just have to see how that goes.
No, that's fair.
Maybe that'll be my little escape, but I also have to raid. So
we'll figure stuff out. I think
I'll just be doing Pokemon because that
Pokemon Sword.
Make me hate.
Maybe Tingle as long as that
Tingle's
stays interesting.
Yeah.
And then the rest, Sarah and Jeff and I can probably handle as need be.
So yeah,
let's see. But yeah, so all right. So I think that's gonna be it. We're gonna have a lot more to talk about generally in terms of like stuff that's in and out. Come PAX East, so that should be pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to that. And hopefully everybody has a good start to 2020. And I'm terrible at the dismount from these things. I gotta get back to letting the Kingdom Hearts 2 stream export. But I will see you guys later. We'll all see you guys later. And thanks for coming and hanging out. Catch you later. Patreon.com/DPATFM if people want to see this live. Bye.
Never forget Beef Sphere.